Welcome to the Newsmakers Podcast. I'm Billy Hollowell, and this is a show where we go behind the headlines every day to bring you an interview with a pastor, entertainer, politician, or other notable news figure. And this is a show, again, it's daily, but it's based on our weekly TV show, which is also called Newsmakers. You can watch it on the CBN News channel and also on our YouTube page. And on this show, every day, we dive deep. It's a little more longer form with one of the people who you will often see on our Newsmakers show or across the CBN News platforms. Actress Jodi Benson has had an incredible career in Hollywood, playing roles in Toy Story and voicing the iconic character of Ariel in The Little Mermaid. She joins us today to talk about her life, her career, and most importantly, her Christian faith and how it shapes all of those things. With no further ado, here is Jodi Benson. So the Wingfeather Saga Season 2, this is really exciting. What can you tell us? What can you preview for us in this new season of the show?
Well, it is very different than season one. There is a lot of adventure. There is a lot of conflict. It can create a little bit of stress and anxiety watching the new episodes, but it is fantastic. And I'm really, really proud of our season two.
You know, my kids have loved, our whole family has loved watching the show and obviously reading the books, watching the show. We've sort of done it simultaneously.
Right.
And, you know, you play Nia, and this is a really interesting character and role. What has it been like sort of pouring yourself into playing Nia?
Yeah. Well, I love, 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 love my character. She is really an incredible person in that she's brave, she's courageous, she is royalty, as we're going to learn more about her. But she's an incredibly loving and kind and patient mother. So she has a lot going on within her, and she's just so inspiring. And I love getting to create her.
You know, you have done, I mean, obviously so much in this space and in Hollywood, obviously from Ariel and The Little Mermaid down the line, you've done so much. You know, what goes into your decision to take a role like this? You know, what sort of factors play into it? Because I would imagine you're a person of faith. I would imagine there's a lot of things that go into your decisions.
Yeah, there are. And it's been an incredible journey for me for, over 40 plus years of being in the industry. So who I am as a person has been established, and there are no surprises with that, which is really wonderful. And I do have the opportunity to read scripts, to delve into these various characters and make these decisions according to what I think is going to be best, for me and for my family. So I feel really loved and respected by my agents as well as by the people that I'm auditioning for. That they're really kind to me as I'm sort of making these types of decisions. But once I pray about it, and my husband and I are both praying, we both are discussing, we will get an automatic door open or close, and it's pretty clear cut. There's not a lot of in between, which I love. I love that. So when this project came up, it was just an open door all the way, and I really loved this character and these stories and being a part of it, because there's so much adventure to it. And we got a little bit of everything going on, and then being able to sing in season one for my character was a lovely surprise. I didn't know that was going to happen. And so Andrew Peterson had written this gorgeous song that he had recorded with his daughters years before. So it was fun to be able to bring this song into season one and just had this sort of anthem, which I loved.
Yeah, no, that's amazing to hear about, just, you know, your prayer and how you sort of get that sign right away of whether or not it, you know, it's a project you should take on. When
Right.
you go back and you look early on, you know, even before you had your first big roles, you know, could you have ever imagined that your career would be where it is today? I mean, it's an incredible career, it really is.
It is. It is. It's a beautiful, wonderful surprise. Everything has been a lovely surprise. And for the Little Mermaid, that was not my trajectory. That wasn't my focus. My focus was doing Broadway and doing Broadway musicals. My passion. And when the Little Mermaid, this door opened up for me to be able to randomly audition for it. And, here I am 30, almost 38 years later, and I'm still recording my voice, and still Ariel is a huge part of my life and my family's lives. And we are just so grateful. It's really neat, though, to see the tapestry that God has created and the puzzle pieces that have come together within my career. And but for me, it's a ministry. I really do feel that God places me exactly where He wants me. He opens the door exactly where He needs me, and it's never usually about the job. It's usually about a God appointment, a relationship with a cast member or with a crew or creative team member. It's usually these behind the scenes moments that I get that moment where I go, oh, that's why I'm doing this project. It's never usually about the end result of the film or the TV show or the animated project. It's always the interworkings in between. So it's more about the journey and less about the destination.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And, what you said about it being, ministry and being able to have an impact on other people's lives and not just being about the job itself that you're there to do.
Right.
That's incredible. Is that one of the things that sort of keeps you going in continuing to do this?
Yes, yes, it does. I wake up I wake up every morning feeling really joyful and hopeful, and I'm looking forward to the God appointments that are going to happen that day, whether it's at the grocery store or at a doctor's appointment, wherever I'm at. And I'm ready to be light and salt. That's kind of our family's daily prayer, is to be able to be light and salt and to have purpose for the day. And again, it's really not about the end result or the resume filler or the next project or the next contract or the next paycheck. All of those are, of course, part of a career. But for me personally, they're sort of on the sidebar. It really is about the relationships with people, the people that I meet along the way. And I have an opportunity to meet thousands and thousands of people from all over the world. And who would have ever thought that that would be the plan that God had for my life through this amazing animated feature film.
Yeah, and being a part of so many people's childhoods and adulthood, the fans who have heard your voice, and it's such a part of their memories, right? It's such a unique position to be in. I want to ask you a Hollywood question because it is so interesting. As for me, I'm constantly covering different projects in Hollywood and what's going on. And look, a lot of people will criticize Hollywood and say there's not a lot of faith. But one of the things in the last 2 years in particular that I have found so fascinating, even in this last year, seeing so many people in Hollywood talk about faith and seeing faith just emerge in so many intriguing ways, both in projects and in people's lives.
Right.
Annika McKellar, you go down the line of people who are getting baptized and finding Jesus. Do you have any reflections on that? Because it seems like God is kind of doing something in that space.
Well, again, I've been part of the industry for a very long time, so there are definitely rises and falls within people's faith walk for all of us. But I do feel that there has always been the element of faith in so many people that I work with and in so many different companies. But in a lot of ways, it stays quiet, which is great. That's fine. It really is fine to have a quiet walk, because it's those people of influence that God has given you that are one on one. Whether it is the janitor who is cleaning the restroom at the studio, those are those quiet moments that aren't going to be flashy. Nobody needs to know about it. It's not going to be on social media. Um, I also think that since the pandemic, there has been a huge shakeup for a lot of people. And I think also in the industry, we went through a double whammy. So we went through the pandemic shutdown, and then we went through a huge strike as a shutdown. So we got hit twice. And those types of events that are out of our control, of course, can be very shaking. and they can really sift us, and they can kind of refine us and put us through the fire. And so I feel like that has happened to a lot of people, where they're getting to the point where we can be inclusive, we can be loving, we can be kind, we can remove judgment. And so there is a little bit more freedom, I think, for people to be able to use their voice and speak out without the fear of being canceled. We are in a cancel culture. That's where we are. We are. Whether we like it or not, it's where we are right now. So we have an opportunity, like I said, for me to wake up, make a choice. How can I be light and salt today? How can I love others well today? How can I serve others well today? That is my purpose in whatever realm I'm at, whatever city I'm in. I try to personally, for me, keep it really, really simple and keep my motivation very simple. And just kind of walk in faith. Definitely walk in faith, not by sight. But we're in a difficult season. We really are. Yeah, I think for people in the industry. So we're going to see this kind of roller coaster going on. People can feel like they can speak out, but then, they're going to possibly get hit with cancel culture, and that can be earth shaking. You can lose your job, you can lose your paycheck, you can lose your film, your television, your agency, and your manager all in one day.
And it happens. I mean, it happens.
It
And
happens a lot.
there are sort of two categories of it. When you make a mistake and you really say something that you shouldn't have, that was wrong, right? And then I think more often than not, it's more you've maybe said something that isn't popular, or you've said something, you've shared something that you believe to be true and people don't like it. And those are very different things. But I would imagine for every person of faith in Hollywood, there's probably some fear of that, and others as well in different categories of having that happen. And your posture of waking up, loving others, doing all of those things, that keeps you in that straight and narrow. But have you had those same fears even in your own career in Hollywood?
Well, let me tell you, Billy. Let me tell you. I have haters every day. I have
Really?
haters that hate me.
You're so kind, though. I can't picture that. I mean, you're so
No,
nice.
that's very sweet. But I'm working in a situation right now where there is a group of people that I'm working with that truly do not like me and will walk the other way, will avoid me at all costs, because my joy and my smile or my hello just annoys the heck out of them. So when you're
Wow.
dealing with light versus dark, there's nothing you can do. But I'm certainly not going to change my personality. So I'm
Yeah.
going to say hello. How are you? How's your family? How are you doing? Have a great day. Thanks for having me. And just those statements literally rise up in these people, and it's so much hate, and I just have to laugh. I mean, what can I do about that? I'm not going to change who I am. So it
No, and you're
really
going to love others, and you're going to keep loving them because, look, scripture says, not that these people are your enemies, but we're supposed to love our enemies. If we're supposed to feed and clothe and love our enemies, then, we've got to live that out. And I think your posture is so incredible on that, because people face this in any industry, right? But in your industry, I think it's a little more intense because of just the nature of it.
yeah, and we're in the spotlight, so when you're dealing with social media, and I personally wish I did not have to participate in social media, but I do. It's part of my job. I have to advertise where I'm going. I need to help sell tickets. I need to get the word out. I need to keep my schedule very clear as to where I'm going to be, what performance, where am I appearing, and all of this. That's part of the job. I have to do that. But there's a part of me that, there are many days where there are messages, and I do my best to delete everything. But I have a lot of people who hate me.
That's so
And,
bizarre to me. It's
and
so
there's
bizarre.
really nothing I can do about it. But I'm certainly not going to change who I am as a person. Um, Now, with my husband and my children, I do have to think about their safety and their well-being. I have had threats, and so there are things that I do have to take precaution with, and have had to contact sheriff and police and things like that to protect my family. these are the things that people don't really know about that happen when you are in somewhat of the public eye. And I'm not a celebrity. I mean, I can go out in public every single day. And yes, I can have pictures taken or do an autograph or, hey, can you take a quick selfie with me? Happy to do it. It comes with the territory of the job. But I can't even imagine, superstars, how they even function when it comes to social media and safety. Because, all the information about us all is all out there. Everything,
Yeah.
every detail about our
Yeah.
life is on the web. It's on the beautiful internet,
Yeah.
including personal information. So it is tricky. It's a fine line of being able to do my job and protect my family. But yes, my feelings get hurt. Absolutely, my feelings get hurt. I can cry and weep about it and just say, wow, I can't believe that this person hates me. They hate me so much. But I think they just hate what's inside of me. They don't like the fact that I'm happy. I'm pretty much happy every single day. Now that doesn't mean that my life is perfect and great, but I try to take switch my lenses. So
Yeah.
when there are hard things coming at our family, which there are, we're in the midst of something right now. Not something that we can talk about as a family, but something that we're going through. And yes, it's sad and it's scary and all of those things. But it's not like trying to deny things or pretend. It's just for me a shift of my lenses to say, okay, instead of looking at all of these scary negative things, I'm going to get my list of blessings and I'm going to take those thoughts captive. I'm going to switch my focus on hope and the fruits of the spirit, and I'm going to try to bear fruit today rather than being
Yeah.
stinky rotten fruit and having a bad attitude and feeling pathetic about myself. So those are those conscious decisions that I make. Doesn't mean life is rosy, because it's not always rosy, but that just comes with years of walking with God and knowing that he is ultimately in control. He's got everything in his hands. I can put everything onto him and trust him because I just trust him. I just do. What are my other options?
Yeah. Yeah. It's where your hope is. I mean, it's where
Yeah.
your hope is, right? And what you're describing, it's what Ephesians 6 tells us. There's light and there's dark, and there's a battle going on. And we often think it's about us and other people, flesh and blood, but it's really a much deeper battle that affects us. And we need to see that and understand that. And I think it gives us compassion for others when we see that too, when we
Yeah.
understand that there's something deeper going on. I'm going to let you go because I've kept you for a long time, but my final question for you, just as we're talking about this, there may be people who are experiencing what you just described in their own life. What
Right.
would your advice be just in terms of praying maybe for those who are afflicting us in different ways?
Yeah. My hope is that I can pray for those that hate me and wish ill upon me and my family. That's not easy. It's not easy, but it is what I have to do, because the alternative is just going to plant a root of bitterness and anger and hatred in me that I don't want to take root in my heart. I'm not going to change who I am because of how somebody mistreats me. So I have to make a conscious decision. So my encouragement would be to pray and ask God to help you love your enemies. Now, I don't love my enemies. I don't. I pray for them, but I don't have a lot of love for them. But I can pray, and that can start to change my heart.
Well, I love that. And it's such a great place for us to close on such a positive note there on what we can do. It's the Wingfeather Saga Season 2. Jodi, appreciate your time as always.
Well, thank you, Billy. It's been a pleasure to chat with you today. And thank you to all of your viewers and your listeners. I really appreciate your support.
That's all for today's Newsmakers podcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode of the show, and also head over to the CBN News YouTube channel and the CBN News channel to watch Newsmakers every week. We'll see you soon.